Hey, fuck. I'm Luca and I have Tourette and ADHD. But do I really? So, I think it's pretty clear that the Tourette's part is true, but how do you know if you really have ADHD? Let's find out. Okay, I'm joking. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, even though it's pretty common for people with ADHD to feel some sort of imposter syndrome sometimes, to feel like they are faking it, and I definitely struggled with that a lot, but I've now come to a point that I know that I have ADHD. I think one of the biggest problems is also that our image of ADHD is sometimes a bit too narrow. So some people might think that they don't really have ADHD just because they don't fit all the criteria in every list, or because they were never really hyperactive as a child, or maybe just because. So today I'm going to do an ADHD test and go through every question and maybe discuss what it's like for me, if I think that I have that symptom or not. Maybe that can provide some insight. Big disclaimer, I don't think that self-diagnosis is a good idea in the long term. Doing an online assessment can be a good idea if you're doubting whether or not this might be something that you're dealing with, and if this is something you should go see a doctor about. I understand that diagnosis and going to therapy is not available to everyone around the world and can be very expensive in some places, but if you can, then please go to a doctor. But still, I know that if I'd fill in any online test for pretty much any mental health disorder, I still score relatively high in all of them because many of these symptoms overlap. So please be careful using online tests to self-diagnose. I'm just doing this for fun because I've never done one, strangely enough. So yeah, the online test that I'm going to do, I have my laptop here, can't see it, but yeah, is the adult ADHD test from ADD.org. I like ADD.org, it gives good info, it's well-rounded. I was looking up some online questionnaires, like 2-minute ADHD tests, and they had like 3 questions. It was like, well, 1, that's no content. And 2, they didn't seem very good or interesting. So I know that ADD.org is a good website, so I kind of like what they're doing. So this PDF, this questionnaire, it's more to be used by mental health professionals or doctors, psychiatrists, I don't know, as a starting point before going into the whole thing to get a diagnosis. I don't think it's necessarily meant for people to just do on their own, but I already have my diagnosis, so, you know. And I've had many of these intakes, so I hope that this... I mean, fuck the rules. Fuck the rules, fuck the rules. I'm a rebel. Okay, so, this is the PDF, really flashy, really cute. This is the adult ADHD self-report scale, symptom checklist, and then there are some instructions. Now, I don't really want to read the instructions. Do I have to? Nah. I think that if you fill in these gray ones, then that means that it's a sign that there might be some ADHD going on. I'm going to answer these questions from the perspective of me being not on my medication, because of course my medication helps me deal with loads of these symptoms that are going to be probably in this patient name. I'm Luca. 1. How often do you have trouble wrapping up the final details of a project once the challenging parts have been done? Okay, so I read this now and I've already forgot what it said. Oh yeah, very often, always. So the last, I would say like 5% of a project takes 95% of the effort for me. Even now with videos, I love making them, but the final bit of it, so I've done all the editing, I've uploaded the video, I've made a thumbnail, but I still have to do the description and the tags and the subtitles. Oh my god. Those captions, they're not a lot of work, but somehow, just because it's the last bit that I have to do, it takes me so much effort to do that. Also because this might not even be interesting to people, who cares? When you upload a video, it takes a little while for it to render the automatic subtitles and automatic captioning, and you can use those to create like the actual captioning. So that takes a little while. So I have to stop what I'm doing and then go back to actually finish that upload and project. No, I hate that. With work, it's the same thing. It's like the final bits of finishing up anything. There's so many projects, so many courses that are 90% done, and just the last bit, no. I hate that. And even on medication, I don't like it. No, just no. The fun is like over by then. Like, you've done the whole thing and I'm like ready for the next thing. And no. Okay, so how often do you have difficulty setting things in order when you have to do a task that requires organization? Wait. Without medication, wow. Let's see. That would take me a while because I get really bad like brain fog. I didn't really know that was an ADHD thing. I'm usually very tired without my medication especially. It's not just sleepy tired, it feels like this fog in your brain. I thought it was like dissociation at first, which I also have, like derealization and stuff like that, but because I didn't know that brain fog was a thing that people with ADHD can have, especially people with like the inattentive side of it, and it makes it really hard to think because it feels like there's like cotton balls or fog in your head, and just thinking of words and moving around, I'll have trouble just walking downstairs because everything's just too, like, it's weird. It's like everything goes slower and faster at the same time, and so that makes it really hard to organize stuff, to do stuff in a certain order and to really just to function. When I'm on medication, it's a lot easier, and I actually really like getting stuff organized. Sometimes I'll just hyper-focus just on organizing stuff. When I have to write an email or when I have to make some documentation about some code that I've written, I'll focus like 3 hours on making the perfect layout and making everything great. And then I still have to do the content bit, and I don't like that. But yeah, my medication really helps with just getting organized, getting stuff done. Getting stuff done for a video as well, so getting my sound going, having my lights up. When in the morning before I take my medication, that's just, it seems like such a task, even though I really want to do it. Just the steps that I have to take to get to that end point, I can't oversee all those things, and it just becomes too much, and just no, and it's not going to happen. And then when I take my meds, it's so much easier. At first, when they said that, I was a bit like, sorry. I will take out my contacts. That's the first step. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, someone has to talk.